यत्र योगेश्वरो कृष्णः यत्र पार्थो धनुर्धरः तत्र श्रीरुचयो भूतिः ध्रुवा नीतिर्मतिर्मम. So we are actually doing the fourth adhyaya, Jnana Yoga, and of that we have already completed up to 30 shlokas, and today we will do shlokas from 31 to 40. So if you can repeat after me, Lataji. यज्ञशिष्टामृतभुजः
यज्ञशिष्टं मृतभुजः
यान्ति ब्रह्म सनातनम्
यान्ति ब्रह्म सनातनम्
नायं लोकोऽस्त्ययज्ञस्य
न्यं लोको सत्ययनस्य
कुतोऽन्यः कुरु सत्तम.
कुतोऽन्यः कुरु सतम
यज्ञशिष्टामृतभुजः यान्ति ब्रह्म सनातनम्
यज्ञशिष्टं मृतभुजः यान्ति ब्रह्म सनातनम्
नायं लोकोऽस्त्ययज्ञस्य
न्यायं लोकोऽस्त्ययज्ञस्य
कुतोऽन्यः कुरु सत्तम.
कुतोऽन्यः कुरु सतम.
Okay, so let's proceed with understanding the meaning of it. So the last week we actually looked at the details of how Sri Krishna Paramatma gives a list of various people who actually perform different types of yajna, and he defines yajna as a sincere effort, all in submission to the divine, supreme divine. And it could be either in the form of performing homa, or it could be in the form of tapas. It could be a dravya yajna, like offering material possessions. It could be pranayama itself, and various such methods. It could be anything. So in continuation, he is now referring to what he would consider as yajnashishta amruta bhujaha. Shishta means the remaining part. Shishtam means remaining part. Shishta amrita bhujaha. Bhujaha as in here is to be eaten. So when in yajna we actually offer everything to the God who is the primary recipient of the offering, and after that has been offered, the leftover is actually consumed by the person who is performing the homa. So that is what it is referred to here as here. So yajna shishtamruta bhujaha yanti brahma sanatanam. So the person who actually performs yajna with that principle in mind, so everything is offered first to the gods, and only then it is consumed by the yajnakara. And who is it being offered to? Sanatanam Brahma. Sanatanam basically means something which is eternal, so which is timeless, not born, not nor does it die, and those are the quality of the Brahman or the Atman. So he goes there. Yanti means goes to that Brahman, which means that he is able to kind of absorb into the oneness. ना अयम लोकः अस्ति अयज्ञस्य कुतः अन्यः कुरुसत्तमा. Kurusattama here is being referred to as to Arjuna. Hey Kurusattama, hey Arjuna. For a person who is ayajñah, ayajñah means the one who does not perform such yajna at all, any form of yajna for that matter. And if for such a person, when he doesn't even learn to perform things in a dedicated way or sacrifice even existence in this real material world itself may be difficult, and forget about the spiritual or the cosmic world. So which means that for somebody who does not perform any form of yajna, he is not to be kind of obtaining any form of benevolence at all. He is not going to be finding any benefit whatsoever, because his lifestyle is one where he's only consuming all for his own selfish needs, but is not able to perform yajna. Okay, we'll move to the next shloka now. Evam bahuvida yajnaha. If you can repeat
Do you want me
that.
to say it?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Evam bahupita yajnaha
Vitata brahmano mukhe
itata brahmano mukhe
karmajan vidhitan sarvan
karma janviti tan sarvan
evam jnatva vimoksyase
evam natva vimoksayase
evam bahuvidha yajnaha vitata brahmano mukhe
evam bahuvita yajna vitata brahmano mukhe
कर्मजान् विद्धितान् सर्वान् एवं ज्ञात्वा विमोक्ष्यसे
karma janviti tan sarvan evam gnatva vimoksayase.
yes. एवं बहुविधाः यज्ञाः वितताः ब्रह्मणः मुखे कर्मजान् विद्धि तान् सर्वान् एवं ज्ञात्वा विमोक्ष्यसे. So now he is summarizing, and this is something which Sri Krishna has spoken of in the third Adhyaya, Karma Yoga, where he says that Brahma has actually kind of created not only the humans, but also along with that, along with them, the concept of yajna. And he made it very clear that humans and gods have to work in a symbiotic fashion, where gods are given gods are respected by the humans for whatever they do. They are remembering the gods by offering everything to them to begin with, and that is then mutually kind of respected by the gods, where they benevolently uh, give a lot of material resources for the well-being of the earth dwellers. So that's how the cycle goes on. So Brahma, therefore, has not only kind of allowed that to happen, but here Brahmanaha refers necessarily also to Veda. Vedas are also referred to here as Brahma. And in Veda, there is a huge emphasis on yajna through the Karma Kanda, the initial part of the Vedas. So, Bahuvidaha yajnaha, different types of yajnaha, vitataha brahmanaha mukhe. So, whether you take it as a Brahma, the Chaturmukha Brahma, or whether it is Vedas, different types of yajnas have been already enlisted. They are all originating from action, karma, karmajan. So they are born out of actions. Vidhi, Tvam Vidhi. Hey Arjuna, do understand that all these yajnas eventually are born out of dutiful actions. All those, tan sarvan. Evam jnatva, have knowing this, vimokshase, tvam vimokshase, you will be able to kind of work towards liberation or moksha. This is very important as per Sri Krishna Paramatma, who is emphasizing the whole concept of yajna, which is nothing but sincerely performing one's actions. Okay. So we'll just go to the next shloka. I'll just carry on reading it. Shreyan dravyamayad yajnat jnana yajnah parantapa sarvam karmakhilam partha jnane parisamapyate. Shreyan dravyamayat yajnat ज्ञानयज्ञः परन्तप सर्वं कर्माखिलं पार्थ ज्ञाने परिसमाप्यते. Here he is comparing among all the yajnas, ultimately it is the yajna of knowledge that is the most essential for one's spiritual growth. Shreyan, better, dravyamayat yajnat, a yajna where material is used to offer to perform sacrifices, to please the devatas or the gods, or even to reach the Paramatma. Jnana yajna is Shreyan. So the yajna where it is all about knowledge. When we say knowledge, knowledge is all about Atma or the Brahma Jnana or the Atma Jnana. The Atma is about me knowing who I am, that I am the Atman and I am one with the universe and everyone is in me and I am in everyone. That kind of a knowledge, and I am actually immortal and I am pure love. That is the jnana that we are talking about. And that is actually a much better form of yajna than material forms of yajna. Because he says, ultimately, everything has to culminate in jnana. Whatever we do, sarvam karma akhilam partha, sarvam akhilam karma. He partha, jnane parisamapyate. Ultimately, even every form of karma, every form of action, ultimately leads to us taking refuge in knowledge. Without knowledge, we won't be able to actually perform actions. So, as much as karma is important, jnana is much more important, is how we understand this. And we'll go to the next shloka. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnen sevaya upadekshyanti te jnanam jnaninastatvadarshinaha. Tatvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshyanti te jnanam jnaninaha tattvadarshinaha. In this shloka, we are understanding how a student needs to approach a guru. We have seen similar shlokas elsewhere where, for instance, Janaka Maharaja is referred to, and he is to be followed by. There it is about how does a leader need to perform or how to behave. They need to behave in a way where everybody follows them, and that is what nature is generally. Now here we are understanding the lesson of how a student needs to approach the guru. Tat vidhi, tvam vidhi, please do know, you know that pranipatena, having performed salutations respecting the Guru, pariprashnena, asking questions in order to seek knowledge, sevaya, having through service to the Guru. If you do all these things, those gurus who are jnaninaha, they are embodiment of knowledge of this Atma Jnana. And Tattva Darshinaha. Tattva basically means Tattvam. They understand the oneness of the universe. And they have actually seen it. They have experienced it. So Darshinaha. So they have experienced the oneness that I am that immense cosmic divinity, or you are that immense cosmic divinity. That kind of a tattva philosophy that they have seen, experienced. These are the kind of gurus that you would approach, and when you do approach them, they actually would be responding by giving you upadesha. Upadekshyanti. Jnanam upadekshyanti te tubhyam to you. So please do know that find gurus like that who are actually jnanis, who are able to, who have experienced the tattva, and to them offer salutations, spend time with them, ask questions to seek knowledge, and also perform lot of seva so that you would be blessed with a lot of imparting of knowledge for your own spiritual progression. Okay, so next is sorry, yeah. Oh yeah, we have done this. 34 we have done. 35. Right. यज्ञात्वा न पुनर्मोहम् एवं यास्यसि पांडव येन भूतान्यशेषेण द्रक्ष्यस्यात्मन्यथो मयि यत् ज्ञात्वा न पुनर्मोहम् न पुनः मोहम् एवं यास्यसि पांडव येन भूतानि अशेषेण द्रक्ष्यसि आत्मनि अथ मयि. That is the breakup of the words. So yat jnatva. Jnatva means having known. That yat, that. Having known that na punaha moham yasyasi. Moham is obviously being bound to this material world and not being able to find ways to liberate ourselves. So, by knowing this knowledge, having been blessed by the Guru, you won't be needing to return back to that mundane, cyclical life circumstances which keeps you drawn back towards the mundane matters. So this is the benefit of seeing such jnanis. And what else do they teach you? Yena bhutani aseshena. With that knowledge. Yena, with that knowledge. With yena basically means with that. And we have to infer with that knowledge. Bhutani, all the living creatures. Aseshena, in abundance. Without aseshaha means remaining part. Aseshena, no remaining one. So essentially in abundance. Abundant life, living creatures. Drakshyasi atmani atha mayi. You see them, you see all these pranis in yourself, not just yourself, atha mayi, in me as well. Atmani is in you, mayi is in me. So, that kind of a knowledge that you develop enables you to see everyone in you, you in everyone. And that's the concept of samadrashti. There is another shloka which teaches this, which is Yomam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mai pashyati tasyaham na pranashyami sacha mena pranashyati. The one who actually sees me in everything and sees everything in me, I will never be lost to such a person, neither do they lose me, is what it means. It's the same as here. So, bhutani aseshena atmani drakshyasi. You are actually able to see all these living creatures in you. Atha mayi, and also in me. In a way, you and me doesn't need to be differentiated. They both are the same. As in, we are Atma and Paramatma are the same. Okay. Next. Api chedasi papebhyah sarvebhyah papakrittamah sarvam jnanaplavenaiva vrijinam santarishyasi. This is also a very important shloka, and I usually use this in the Sanatana Dharma webinar course as well. In what context? In the context that we may actually wonder, is Sanatana Dharma only for those who actually excel in their spiritual growth? What about those who are miserably failing in their lives and committing a lot of sins and papa? Is there any solace for them? Is there any kind of way that they can climb up the ladder of spiritual progress? This is a good one for you all to refer to, particularly when somebody is quite vulnerable and being fed that there are better alternatives to Sanatana Dharma. So, what does it mean? Let's first look at the breakup of the words. Api chet asi papebhyah sarvebhyah papakrittamah sarvam jnanaplavena eva vrijinam santarishyasi. Okay, so we have an explanation here where Sri Krishna is basically saying Papakritamaha api chet asi tvam papakritamaha asi. Even if you, and compared to whom, papebhyah sarvebhyah papebhyah, compared to the worst kind of, compared to other papis, those who are sinners, and you are the worst among the sinners, papakritamaha. Even let us assume that you are the worst sinner among all the sinners. Even if that is the case, sarvam jnanaplavena eva sarvam vrijinam. Sarvam vrijinam. Vrijinam means papam, the sins. Sarvam, all sins. Santarishyasi, tvam santarishyasi. You will be able to kind of swim through. You will be able to swim through all those sins only through eva, means only through the nauka or the boat called jnana. So that is how powerful jnana is. It is easy to understand as well, because once we have a sense of realization, once we know the truth, a lot of times, even the mundane situations, once we know the truth, we tend to be a changed person, at that point of time, because we have understood something which I did not have as an understanding before, and I'm actually a better person now. Therefore, there is definitely scope for even the worst of the papis to be able to um, ride through or sail through papa using only the nauka or the boat called jnanam. Without that, perhaps it is not possible. Okay. All right. So let's move on to the next one. Yatai dhamsi samidhognihi bhasmasat kuruterjuna ज्ञानाग्निः सर्वकर्माणि भस्मसात् कुरुते तथा यथा एदांसि समिद्धः अग्निः भस्मसात् कुरुते अर्जुन ज्ञानाग्निः सर्वकर्माणि भस्मसात् kurute tatha. Those who know a little bit of Sanskrit would know yatha tatha usage. And yatha and tatha are just as, so as. Just as, so as. So just as a fire which has lit wood, or let us say a fire which is kind of raging, a fire which is raging, edhamsi is the wood, the wooden kind of sticks or whatever is used, let us say in Homa and so on. That fire burns away that set of wood into ashes. Bhasmasat kurute. It turns anything basically into ashes, as in destroys it completely without any recognition whatsoever. So that's the whole meaning of bhasma, that it has completely changed its form, it's become completely destroyed. So just as a well lit fire is able to turn wood into ashes, tatha, so does jnanagnihi, the fire called knowledge. Jnanagnihi, fire called knowledge. Sarvakarmani. So instead of wood, the metaphor used here is, the comparison used here is sarvakarmani, the deeds that we do every day, all our actions. Those actions become meaningless because they're all destroyed. In what sense? They don't carry any baggage for you anymore. What is the problem with every action that we do? We actually produce more imprints. We carry the results because we are often so kind of trained in our mind that we are looking for a result for every action that we do. And what does that lead to? It leads to bondage. It leads to bondage with the world around me because I'm wanting something and therefore it is getting imprinted. And that is obviously not nishkama karma, it is a sakama karma with result in mind. I am actually kind of performing actions. So this jnana agni, what does it do? How does jnana, the knowledge or the atma jnana, actually burn away or destroy all the karma into ashes? That jnana is nothing but, again, the various things that we have been taught in Bhagavad Gita. First is Atma Vidya, that I am the Atman and I am pure love. I am able to exercise Samadrishti. I see everyone in me and I see myself in everything. All that knowledge that we know. Second thing is that Bhagavad Gita teaches us Nishkama Karma. Nishkama Karma is to be practiced without fail, where every action that is done so without a result in mind. When we don't have a result in mind, in a way we are actually offering the result. It has nothing to do with me. Even I'm not thinking about it, whether I'm offering it to anybody or not. Once I practice Nishkama Karma, I'm able to kind of just carry on doing actions because I still have to do actions. And that's what Bhagavad Gita still says. You can't be without doing any actions. You have to perform actions. But in a way, as if you are not performing actions. How does it work? When you're not performing any actions, there is no result, isn't it? When we are not performing any action whatsoever, there is no result, and therefore there is no baggage attached. But when we are doing a karma, when we are doing an action, when we do as if there is no result, the difference is nothing. There is no difference between akarma and karma. You are performing both to be the same, and that is the jnana. That is the level of knowledge that you have developed with which you are performing a karma, and because there is no attachment, there is no result, it is as good as burnt away, because these actions are not bearing any fruit for you to be bound, bound with. So that's the way jnana as an agni is able to help you. We have earlier learned jnana yajna, and now we are seeing jnana agni. Jnana yajna is using jnanam to really kind of sincerely offer myself for the spiritual betterment and reach divine. That is the whole point of every yajna anyway. And jnana agni is, here we are understanding how to perform karma. Okay. Nahi jnanena sadrisham pavitramiha vidyate tatsvayam yoga samsiddhaha kalenatmani vindati. Here we are understanding how pure and how pious jnana is. And there is nothing beyond jnana which is more pious in this world. Nahi jnanena sadrisham pavitram iha vidyate tat swayam yoga samsiddhaha kalena atmani vindati. Jnanena sadrisham. Sadrisham means similar to. Jnanena. Jnanena literally basically means with jnana. But it's like compared to jnana or similar to jnana. Iha, in this world, pavitram nahi. There is nothing more pious or pure. Vidyate, na vidyate means not present. So there is nothing beyond jnana which you can claim to be more pure, pious. Tat jnanam swayam yoga samsiddhaha kalena atmani vindati. Yoga samsiddhaha is the yogi, the one who is able to attain samadhi state. Siddhi is able to reach that pinnacle of his yogic practice. Kalena, with time, Atmani, within himself, Tat Swayam, that knowledge, Vindati, experiences it, enjoys it. So that's the kind of purity that it has, that jnanam is experienced by a yogi who is in a samadhi state, and it reaches that state of culmination where he is rejoicing within himself with time. And there is nothing any more greater than the knowledge of the Atman or the Atma Jnana. Okay, next. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam tatparah संयतेन्द्रियः ज्ञानं लब्ध्वा परां शान्तिम् अचिरेणाधिगच्छति. श्रद्धावान लभते ज्ञानम तत्परः संयतेन्द्रियः ज्ञानम लब्ध्वा परां शांतिम sorry ज्ञानम लब्ध्वा परां शांतिम अचिरेण अधिगच्छति. Adhigachati means, gachati means going. Adhigachati reaches. Who reaches that state? Shraddhavan, tatparaha, sanyatendriyaha. So the one who is able to display a lot of shraddha, okay, discipline, a lot of discipline in his practice. Tatparaha, who is able to stay connected continuously with the Almighty, the Cosmic Supreme. Sanyatendriyaha, jitendriyaha, the one who has won over his indriyas, and he is able to channelize them only to stay connected with the cosmic divinity. So he adhigachati, he reaches somewhere. Where does he go? He reaches param shantim, the utmost, most peaceful thing that one can think about. That is the kaivalyam. That is the oneness with the divine. So he reaches param shantim achirena, in no time. In no time. Having done what? Labdva, having obtained jnanam. So again we are told that jnanam is so important. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. The one who has shraddha, he gets jnanam, and he is also completely kind of surrendered to the whole idea of being in oneness with the cosmic divinity, and has won over his indriyas, and having obtained the knowledge of all these things, with no time is able to reach that Kaivalya state finally. Okay. Agnyascha shraddhadanascha samshayatma vinashyati nayam lokosti na paraha na sukham samshayatmanaha. Agnya cha ashraddhanaha cha samshayatma vinashyati न अयम लोकः अस्ति न परः न सुखम संशयात्मनः. Now we are looking at the opposite. Agnaha, the one who does not have knowledge. Ashraddhadanaha, the one who is not disciplined. Samshayatma, the one who is always doubting, who has a doubting mind. Vinashyati, he is destroyed. He does not make any progress. For such a person, na ayam lokaha asti, he is no good even in this own material world. Forget about the cosmic world. There is no sukham, there is no contentment for such a person because of samshaya atmanaha, because of being always doubtful. There is no way he is able to have a steadfast mind even after understanding the truth. And that is the problem with a doubtful mind. They may often bring logic to excessive use to spoil their pure spiritual experience. Okay, that leads to downfall of spiritual progress. Yoga sanyasta karmanam jnana sanchina samshayam atmavantam na karmani nibadhnanti dhananjaya. Yoga sanyasta karmanam jnana sanchina samshayam atmavantam na karmani nibadhanti dhananjaya. There is no need to break words here. They are all samasa pada, long, basically compound words as we call them. Yoga sanyasta karmanam, the one who is obviously able to use yogic knowledge. That's one more thing we should not forget. Sannyasa. Sannyasa is where we are able to restrain our mind and indriyas, and therefore able to reduce our desires. And that is as much important as karma sannyasa, that is karma sannyasa, and you have karma yoga. Both are important. So karma yoga advocates nishkama karma, where we are performing actions without fruits in mind. Your karma sannyasa or yoga sannyasa would basically be about letting go of desires. And how can we do that? When we are able to refrain our senses and mind as well, using our buddhi ultimately. So it all culminates in jnana. So yoga sannyasta karmanam, the one who is able to perform actions, for him, jnana sanchinna samshayam, who is able to get over, no, there is no samshayam in him, there is no doubt anymore in him. That is, those doubts are destroyed with jnana. Atmavantam, the one who is full of knowledge. Na karmani nibadhanti. Karma, the actions, do not bind him, bind them. Karmani na nibadhanti. The actions don't bind such a person. So karmani, yoga sanyasta karmanam, jnana sanchinna samshayam, atmavantam na nibadhanti. Hey Dhananjaya, hey Arjuna. So that is, again, we are coming to the end of Jnana Yoga. Once again, we are coming back to the positive reminder about the benefit that is bestowed upon to a practicing yogi who is able to use jnana, who is able to use sannyasa, who is able to use nishkama karma to good effect. And ultimately, all these boil down to how we are able to absolve ourselves from the impact of our duties that we have to continue to do. There is no escape. So this is the formula, the formula by which it's almost like saying you are on a treadmill and the treadmill can't be stopped. The rules of the game are that the treadmill can't be stopped and you need to keep running on it. But how do I run continuously? How do I run continuously? There should be some other way for me to not get exhausted or not, whatever you may. That's the game there. Let's call it the game of treadmill, non-stop treadmill. So it's similar to that. It's like non-stop action. You have to keep doing. So there should be some rules of the game. If there are no rules of the game, the treadmill game would be a failure. It is set to fail because at some point you'll get exhausted and you'll collapse. So that's not possible. So for that, you need to have some set of rules where it is ultimately meaningful exercise. Similarly, here karma has to be, it's a continuous process. There is no way for us to escape. And karma is not just about bodily action, it is also through the mind. Any thoughts, that also becomes karma. So how do I work with that? The rules of the game are that the way to work with it is, the rules say that first thing, you can't stop the treadmill. Similarly, you can't stop action. So akarma is not allowed. But when you're doing karma, do it as if you are not doing anything, which means you are not looking for the result. Do it in such a way that you are not desiring anything for yourself. So sannyasa comes into the picture. And do it in a way where you are continuously contemplating on yourself to be the Atman, seeing everyone in you, seeing yourself in everyone, and that is the Atma Jnana. When you do all these things put together, you are absolving yourself from the impact of karma. And finally, tasmat ajnana sambhutam hridstham jnanasinatmanah chitvainam samshayam yogam atishthottishtha bharata. Tasmat ajnana sambhutam hridstham jnanasinatmanah chitva enam samshayam yogam atishtha uttishtha bharata. So there are two verbs at the bottom in the last quarter of the thing, pada. So tasmat, therefore, so it's concluding, therefore, ajnana sambhutam hridstham. It's like hridayasthanam, you can say hridayasthanam, or the mind or the heart. If it is filled with ajnana, if it is filled with ajnana, he is giving you a tip. Because there will be all these people who are kind of wavering. They are able to capture the essence of truth, but they are unable to stay with it. They are doubting it, for instance. So he's giving you a tip. And what is the tip? He says, deliberately cut it. How? Jnanasina. With the sword called jnana. So it's as if like you have to deliberately sever ties with it. Cut it away. Cut it away using a sword called jnana. So Atmanaha Hritstam Ajnana Sambhutam. In your own dilemmas, your own deliberations, your own confusions are going to be your hindrance, your burden for you to be not being able to make progress. So you cut it away using the sword called jnana. Chitva, now having separated, chitva means having separated, enam samshayam yogam, now having separated that samshayam, that doubtful kind of attachment that you have had so far. Uttishtha, get up now, get up. Because you have to do it deliberately. Sometimes it is not going to happen just by deliberating. Sometimes you have to just get up, act quickly, and separate it, get on with it, move on. Don't think about it. So, Uttishta, now that you have separated it, Uttishta, get up. Hey Bharata, and Atishtha, and practice it. We'll just look at what Atishtha means exactly so that I can give you the right meaning for that. Right, Atishtha. Yeah, Achara. So practice. So ultimately, it is about saying, okay, Tasmat Ajnana Sambhutam Atmanaha Rastam Enam Samshayam Jnanasina Chitva Uttishtha. You get up, having severed ties with that ignorance that is filling your heart and your mind, using Jnana Rupena Kadghena, with the sword, which is nothing but knowledge. And having done that, Chitva, having separated, Nishkama Karma Achara, practice Nishkama Karma. And essentially, he's saying, Uttishtha Atishtha, get up and practice. Here, obviously, in reference to the battlefield, he's asking him to stop deliberating on it too much, get up and fight, is what he basically is referring to. Om Tat Saditi Srimad Bhagavadgita Supanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Jnana Yogo Nama Chaturtho Dhyayaha. All right, so we complete fourth chapter here. If there are any questions, we can discuss.
No questions. I think the way you explain, every time I let it sink in, it gets a little bit more clearer and clearer. So thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Lataji, you managed to stay through. Haven't
I'm just getting dressed, but I still kept it on because my husband's in the garden, so I have to wait till he gets ready. But it was really good, and like the other lady said, it's really nice. It's really nice, and it's so nice that I can compare this with my religion or Swaminarayan, and it's so much similar. The Brahmagnan is which it is, and they look at each other with as Atma, not as a person. So I think it's really good. And I managed to at least be able to listen today, so it's good.
That's great. I didn't want to.
I think there's a group called Think Gita. I don't know if you know about it, and it would be really nice if you were part of them or they part of you, so that they have a lot of people who would love to listen to this. So I just decided whilst listening, I'm going to try and contact them and see if you don't mind. Then I will give you a reference and they would all listen to it, because they have every Thursday, they have this Think Gita group. And they also do Think Gita.
Think Gita. Oh, that's a nice name. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's really good. They've been there since a year and a half or so. So I just going to listen to them, that's all.
Okay, all right.
But
Yeah,
it's good. I'm going to
you.
contact them and I'm going to give you their number. Maybe you can contact them as well. And I think you would have loads of people to listen to this on a Sunday afternoon. They would love it because I think it's really good.
Sure.
Have you got the recording of this in the group? I couldn't find it. Please, in there.
I have been publishing the recordings on the YouTube channel, so I will.
You could give them directly.
Yeah, I'll share. No, I'll share today's later on.
Yeah, okay. I will contact, and there's a guy called Rajiv, and there are some others, but maybe I'll ask them to contact you and see what happens.
Sure.
Or I can give you their number and see if you can contact. But I'll tell you, they'll be very grateful to listen to this. I'm sure they will, especially in English, because every Thursday when they have a thing, people from all over the world join. Like so many countries of Europe, America, they all join just to listen to it. I'll send you the links. You'll be able to watch it on Thursday.
Okay. All right.
Thursday evening.
Well, definitely. Let's close for today then. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः. All right, we'll meet up again next Sunday. Namaste.